Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Welcome to another video. It's another all new news roundup that we've got in store for you today. We're going to be talking about Robert Lewandowski. We're going to be talking about Arsenal's big day yesterday when it came to negotiating transfers and striking up deals. We've got Tanguy Ndombele in the news that we need to discuss, and we're also going to be talking about one Jesse Lingard as well. But before we go any further, I would like to remind you to please like the video and also subscribe if you're new. Both things will always and forever be greatly appreciated. But for now, let's get about talking about some of the biggest news headlines from the world of football within the past 24 hours or so. Beginning with one record goal-scoring machine, Robert Lewandowski. So we're diving headfirst into this news. We're diving headfirst into this Robert Lewandowski situation. We woke up this morning to news that allegedly Lewandowski is open to seeking a new challenge elsewhere away from Bayern Munich. He's looking for a new challenge elsewhere, and this news comes from the source of Sky Sports, who claim that they've been told Lewandowski is happy at Bayern Munich, very happy at Bayern Munich, but open to a move away to a big European club before he turns 35. He's currently 32, turns 33 on Saturday. So anytime within the next couple of years, basically, he would be willing to move away from the German giants and seek a new challenge elsewhere. The Polish striker's contract does end in 2023 anyway, so even if he doesn't get that move before then, he's open to then having a free transfer to go wherever he so desires in 2023 by the time of the age that he wants to leave. But the likelihood is that with what's being said, he may have to see out his contract anyway, because allegedly Bayern Munich have placed on a £100 million price tag, or a fee in excess of £100 million on the striker's head. Now, the price tag is a pretty hefty one, there's no doubt about that. We've just seen Jack Grealish leave Aston Villa for £100 million. So this price tag may scare off a lot of interest from last season's record-breaking Bundesliga top goal scorer. Given that it's mainly to do with his age, many may not see £100 million for a 32-year-old going on to 33-year-old striker as a worthwhile long-term investment, despite obviously proving that with the right supply behind him, he can obviously bag a lot of goals and still is one of the best strikers in Europe, an all-round top quality striker. So it may be that he will have to see out his contract and then get that move at 35, if obviously it's still worthwhile for people to get that move and he's still a big name, wants to continue football, doesn't pick up injuries, that kind of thing going forward. To me, this news coming out right now, the timing seems a little bit weird. We read about this just as we're getting into the new season. The new season is underway and the transfer window is obviously nearing its closure. Does he maybe know something we don't? Or has he heard something that we haven't heard yet? I don't know. But it isn't like he's going to be forcing his way out the club. He seems to be very respectful to both the club and the supporters. He doesn't want to harm the relationship that he's got with both of those things. So he's going to be very respectful about it. But like he said, he's happy at Bayern Munich, but he would be willing to be open to a move to a bigger, or not so bigger, but a big European club elsewhere, should something obviously materialize. But this could be a very interesting story to keep your eye on going into the future. Like I say, I don't think anything will happen right now. Maybe next season, possibly, but I don't know. I don't know about this one. So it's worth keeping an eye on anyway. Next, we come to Arsenal, who had a very busy day yesterday as they struck up a couple of deals for a couple of players. First, we're going to talk about the Martin Odegaard situation. We spoke yesterday about it. We spoke a few times in the past about it as well. So if you want more of my thoughts and comments on this situation, on this story, go back and find them and watch them as I talk about it a bit more. But we talked about it yesterday. We said it seems that Odegaard was going to officially become an Arsenal player on a permanent basis going forward in the very near future. And then a few hours after I put up the video, it was revealed that a fee has been struck, a deal has been struck between Real Madrid and Arsenal for the player. A fee believed to be in the region of an initial £30 million up front, and then some add-ons afterwards. That is taking the fee just shy of the £40 million mark. And that the Norwegian, not Danish as I said yesterday, but Norwegian, will then sign a 5-year contract as well. There's a lot of talk that Odegaard will be fully unveiled as a permanent Arsenal player today, maybe even as this video goes up, and that he will be registered in time to be in contention to play against Arsenal's fierce rivals Chelsea on Sunday. We all knew that Arsenal needed strength in their midfield, and particularly the more attacking and creative side of that midfield. And it seems that they've got a very decent player here. He's obviously a player that is young. He's fits the bill of what Arsenal were looking for. He's still got potential and time on his side. He's got a lot of potential. This was a guy whose potential, like I said yesterday, was through the roof when he first signed for Real Madrid, and that's why they did actually go on to sign him. And obviously with Arsenal, it will be interesting to see if he can continue his development, and we wait and see how he grows and elevates his game going forward. But I think this could be a very good move for Arsenal, obviously, and for Odegaard. Odegaard is right now in a squad that is young, upcoming. It could be one of them squads where we look at and go, this is where they started, very poor, very underwhelming kind of thing, and this is where they are now, rise back to the level that Arsenal want to be at, back in Champions League football. Possibly, it could happen, it might not happen. We wait and see, of course, with this squad and where it goes from here. But as I say, this wasn't the only deal to be struck yesterday by the Gunners. Yes, because hours after the Martin Odegaard story broke that they'd struck up a deal with Real Madrid, Arsenal went on and struck up a deal with another club for another player that's been on their radar for some time. Now, we've talked and discussed about this transfer in previous videos, so if you want more of the details on this situation, go back and find them in previous videos that I've done. But this is a story that centres around Aaron Ramsdale. It was revealed yesterday that Sheffield United have accepted an offer of £24 million up front by the Gunners, with £6 million in add-ons, taking it up to, of course, £30 million. Brilliant mathematician that I am. This has been a story that has been hot and cold throughout the summer, hasn't it? For the most part, this has been a story that has been in your face 1 second and then gone a bit cold, and then with the numerous conflicting reports surrounding it, it's easy to see why. In my opinion, this was seemingly a bit of a random sort of target, considering that Ramsdale got relegated with Sheffield United last season, and I personally believe that he didn't really cover himself in much glory with United, and wasn't necessarily what I call a standout performer in an otherwise dark and gloomy season for the Blades. But obviously Arsenal have taken a shine to him and decided to pay a pretty hefty fee. And it's a fee that is bigger than the fee that Arsenal let Emi Martinez go for last season. I believe Emi Martinez was let go for around about £20 million last season by the Gunners. And they go out and they buy a goalkeeper for £30 million to keep Leno on his toes. I think it may be a secondary goalkeeper. Definitely will be challenging for Leno, possibly. But they buy him for more than what they let Martinez go for. And in my opinion, the now Villa goalkeeper is a better goalkeeper than what Ramsdale is. With all due respect, of course, but that's just my opinion. I spoke on this story, like I said, a few times in the past, so go back and find them videos if you want more on this story. But as we've previously talked about, Arsenal were looking to bring in a few more faces before the end of this transfer window. And they are very, very close to bringing in at least 2 as of right now. For our next story, we jump onto Arsenal's fierce North London rivals Tottenham. And this story centres around their midfielder, Tanguy Ndombele. The French midfielder has allegedly told the club that he wants to leave Spurs before the end of this transfer window. The 24-year-old, of course, signed for Spurs back in 2019, and despite arriving with a lot of potential and a lot of expectation, it hasn't exactly panned out too well for him. He's been under 3 different managers during his time at the club, and all 3 managers have seemingly had issues with him. He was dropped by Pochettino towards the end of Poch's reign as manager at the club. Mourinho came in and instantly took a bit of a disliking to Ndombele as a player for his work rate and work ethic. And it doesn't appear that Nuno Espirito Santo, the new Tottenham manager, is a big fan of his either, to a point where he's been frozen out of the squad and even left out of Tottenham's Europa Conference League squad. Still baffles me that there's a Europa Conference League, but we move on. It will be interesting to see if a move can materialise for Tottenham's record signing. Time, of course, is ticking down on this transfer window from closing, but it will be interesting couple of weeks ahead to see if there is anybody out there that wants to take Tanguy Ndombele as a new signing. On to the next story, we come to Chelsea, another London club for this very, very, very quick story we're going to be talking about. And as the Blues are set to offload left-back Emerson to Lyon on loan. Fabrizio Romano stated that he expects the deal to be made official today following medical tests and all other things kind of being wrapped up around this deal, or the loose ends tied up, so to speak, and so on and so forth. And that Emerson will be a Lyon player seemingly imminently, and that announcement could be made at any time. With both Ben Chilwell and Marcos Alonso ahead of the Italian in the left-back pecking order at Stamford Bridge, it's easy to see why he would be leaving the club and why Chelsea would be looking to trim down the squad a little bit. But yes, Emerson is on the move, looking like a loan move to French club Lyon. And finally, it's being said that West Ham may launch another attempt to sign Jesse Lingard this summer. The midfielder spent the second half of last season on loan with the Hammers, where he initially hit the ground running for them, scoring 9 goals and assisting 5 times in 16 appearances. It's being said that there may be a fair bit of interest in the youngest 28-year-old ever, but following his rather successful loan move last season to West Ham, it's being said that that could be the factor that tips the scales in the Hammers' favour if he is to leave Manchester United. In my opinion, Lingard needs to leave United for Lingard. He needs to leave for himself. He's not going to break into the starting 11 at United and will likely be the guy to play in the Carabao Cup games or the smaller kind of Champions League games where it may not mean as much and maybe other players may need a rest. The likes of your Paul Pogba, your Bruno Fernandes, that kind of thing. If he wants to play more first-team football, then he definitely needs to seek a move away from Old Trafford, in my opinion. He's 28, and last season proved that, okay, maybe he may be a bit of a purple patch merchant, or whatever you want to call it, but maybe with some consistency behind him in his playing time, he can do a job for a club like West Ham. And it may be the whole thing again of maybe a player resurrecting his career, or reigniting his career, with a change of scenery and stuff like that. Maybe it is something along them lines, because let's face it, when he was at West Ham last season, he played very well, of course. Like I say, his record speaks for itself, and it was the kind of form that got him to be in contention again for the England squad for this summer's Euros. He was very, very close. He was left out of the squad. He was, when Southgate had to trim it down to 26 names, Lingard was left out, but he came very close with the kind of form that he did show at West Ham. So for me, he does need to leave, but this could be an interesting couple of weeks ahead for Jesse Lingard in regards to his future. But as I always say, these are just the thoughts, comments, opinions, predictions, whatever you want to call it, of this guy. I want to know what you guys think. What do you make of any of the news stories that I've talked about within this video? What do you make of the Robert Lewandowski situation? What do you make of Arsenal's busy day yesterday and are very close to tying up both new signings of Martin Odegaard and Aaron Ramsdale? What do you make of the Tanguy Ndombele situation? Do you think he'll leave Tottenham this summer? What do you make of Emerson going to Lyon on loan from Chelsea? And what do you make of Jesse Lingard? Will he stay at United this summer, or will he leave? And where will he go? Will he go and make his move to West Ham a permanent one? I'd love to know your thoughts, comments, opinions, predictions, whatever you want to call it, on any of these news stories down below in the comments section, because I'm sure they'll all make for interesting reading. Otherwise, hit the like button on the way if you enjoyed the video, subscribe if you're new or want to see more content like this. Both things are always and forever be greatly appreciated. And as always, thank you all so much for watching and listening. I've been Fletch, this has been another Fletch Talks video, and I will see and speak to you all again soon in another video.